Welcome to Pepper Shock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Rhea Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm Rhea Allen, and I am here to share and inspire you with marketing tips and inspirations and all kinds of fun things. And today I am joined by Melissa DeLuca. She's the founder of DeLuca and Willow, and we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming event that we have. And we're going to give you a little bit of information, but not everything, because you have to come to the event. But we have Culture and Brand Camp coming up May 14th. And Melissa, what are you going to talk about at this event?
Well, many people don't know this about me because I'm relatively new to the area, but I'm a former Google executive. I built and led the global HR team for the Google Cloud organization, which was a phenomenal experience. And so I get asked a lot about what's the culture like at Google? And what is this thing called Googliness?
I love Googliness.
Right?
Awesome.
Totally fun. I'm going to give you all the ins and outs of what Googliness is and isn't. And also just kind of my perspective on the benefits and barriers of a culture, and particularly what I learned at Google.
Very cool. And now tell me a little bit more about your background. What landed you at Google? I know you have a history in high tech, but give me kind of a synopsis of where you were and where you came from. And you're not a Californian.
No, I'm not. I'm an Idahoan, which often gets confused for an Idahoan.
Yes,
Ohioan. I'm sorry, I don't even know where. Yeah, Ohioan. See, I'm confusing myself. Anyway,
Ohioan and Idahoan. There you
go.
There
you go. And sometimes Iowa gets thrown in that mix too. So those three states tend to blur it all together in people's minds. But originally from Ohio, born and raised in Dean Martin's hometown, which is Steubenville, Ohio, and I'm a Big Tenor, went to school in Columbus at The Ohio State University, and was recruited by a telecommunications company that's headquartered out in New York. So I've grown up in tech, and the journey, gosh, I'm solar powered, and I wanted to move west because the Midwest winters are just brutal.
I love it. I'm solar powered.
I am totally solar powered. Yeah, and so the beautiful early career experiences, I did a rotational program where I spent a number of years in customer service and marketing and IT, and just really loved the broad brushstroke of the business background that I got right out of college. And that led me to go continue my telecom journey with Lucent Technologies, which is now Avaya, largely.
Yeah.
And then Cisco recruited me because of my voice background, not my singing voice, not my speaking voice, but telephony, just understanding the technology and being able to market it and sell it. So I worked for Cisco, for the infrastructure company, for almost 14 years. Wow. As an enterprise salesperson, which back in the day, there weren't very many women selling hardware.
Way to represent, girl.
Thank
That's awesome.
you. I tell you what, talk about culture and things to emulate and things not to emulate. But boy, I really grew a thick skin in that.
I bet.
Sell or be sold kind of environment. It was tough, but don't regret it for a minute. Just really learned a lot about technology and the business and myself through journeys like that. But my education's industrial organizational psychology. I have graduate work in that space. And I made the switch from enterprise sales to HR many years ago, and which is kind of an unusual flip. And I've been in HR ever since. So HR at Cisco and the different functional groups, kind of working with our CFO and the engineering organization. Just a lot of different experiences at Cisco, which was really a fun ride for 14 years. And that got the attention of Google. Google's like, who's this salesperson?
Right.
Who had a rockin' sales career, and she's been in HR for a very long time. And we want you to come and see what Google's all about and see if you can bring your magic here. And so the rest was history. It was a really phenomenal experience to go and experience that Google culture firsthand, that energy, that excitement, obviously growth industry.
And so you were on the training side or recruitment side or all of the above? What when you said you did the HR executive, and I love how you tell me, well, at Google we really didn't have titles, but it's the equivalency of an HR executive of the Google Cloud, right?
Yes.
So what did you do at Google as an HR person?
Yeah, great question. So when people hear HR, a lot of times they traditionally go to hiring people, developing people, exiting people, right? Kind of the operational sides of HR. So I did all that. And then the strategic sides of HR, right? So what's the strategy of the business and what's the people component of that? And are we structured the right way for success? Do we have the right people, right processes in place to accomplish what we need to accomplish? So my role was more the business facing side of HR.
Gotcha.
So I was really listening to the goals and objectives of the business and then translating that into our people strategy.
Nice. So that's something that we'll get to learn at the Culture and Brand Camp coming up. And really, it's great because the culture becomes the brand, and the whole brand experience is the people. And the people are really truly what makes that experience happen, right? And so I'm going to have a good time understanding all of the things that we're going to do to tie together today, or at that event on that day, and listen to what it makes to be a chief culture officer from Ron Price, and then with Shelley G and Strengths Finders and using the best of your team, and then you of course with the Googliness, and then tying it together with the branding aspect of it. And your brand is only as good as your people. So right. I think it's going to be fun, and a lot of leaders will get to come and get good ideas and information from ways that people operate in their organizations and how you are operating in Google. So I think that's going to be a fun thing, because people want to know what makes Google so special and so awesome. So you get to come and share your knowledge and the things that you learned from Google culture. And now what are you doing with DeLuca and Willow?
So great question. So I took my favorite parts of being an HR executive and made it a business. So as an HR person, you are always coaching, always. You're always listening to leaders, the individual contributors, the organization as a whole. And you see so many opportunities to really help people and empower them and grow them. But when you're running a global group with over 6,000 people, your ability to do that in any broad or deep way is kind of limited. And of course, when you're under the umbrella of a corporation, there's so many things you can and can't do, which makes a lot of sense legally.
Right.
And so I love the coaching side of what I did and do as an HR professional. And then I also really love translating business into people strategy, right? So working with leadership teams and facilitating those processes so they can get the best out of the collective, right? So that's the leadership facilitation side of my business. So it's, coaching and leadership facilitation.
And that's right. We had you come in for our Pepper Shock powwow, and we got to do all kinds of fun things, including the helium stick. We still talk about this day, like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get it figured out? And we finally did. But we did that, and we went through our P2s, so our Pepper Shock values, and came up with our top 5, which was relationships, innovation, superior outcomes, integrity, and resiliency. Thank you for that. We worked with you to put our words that were important to us together and came up with our own our values, but you helped facilitate us to go through that process. And it's fun because you get to work with creative people, and then you get to be creative with creative people sometimes.
So
and
fun.
We love having people like you come in and do some fun exercises with us. And our Pepper Shock powwow every year is we always have somebody come in and do really cool things, and hopefully memorable, and they are definitely with what we had you do. And I think it's great, and by being able to use your Googliness on us, and I won't give away the farm there, but
that's too fun. I'm glad you enjoyed the creative process, right? Because a lot of times people talk about what they value as an organization, and a lot of times they're beautiful words and powerful words, and they get put on posters and they're visible. And a lot of times we don't flesh that out. Like, whoa, what does this really mean to us? And how do we recognize that behaviorally? Like, what does it look like when we're resilient? Mm-hmm. What does it look like when we're not? Mm-hmm. What does it sound like? All right. And so really picking apart the word and putting it to kind of that visual, that auditory, and even kinesthetic feeling can really help people, hold each other accountable. But also, you can recognize it and reward it and celebrate it.
Yep.
And equally, sometimes not everybody walks the walk and talks the talk, and it gives you a platform to have a really constructive, productive conversation as well.
I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, but I still have the big giant sticky notes that we did from Pepper Shock Bow Wow, and they all have our words on there. What does it not look like and what does it look like?
What does it look like? No, I did see that.
Yeah.
Too fun.
It is. It's been good. Well, I want to just give you an opportunity to just share with us what it's been like to move to the Treasure Valley area and what you are looking forward to most at Culture and Brand Camp and then beyond.
Oh, love it. So firstly, I was so grateful to get the introduction to you, Ray, and the people here at Pepper Shock, because being a brand new business leader in a brand new market, right? And just where do I start and how do I start? And really just leveraging your wisdom, your team's wisdom, and just helping me think through not only, my ideal client or my target clients, right, and my ideal markets, but just really how to launch. And I've been very grateful for that experience and that partnership. So coming to a new market, I said my advice would be find out who's a connector.
Right.
Who's been here, who does what they do really well and loves what they do. And so that's what led me to find you guys here at Pepper Shock. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to, well, first off, I love to learn from others. And I'm excited just to hear from the people that are going to be coming to Culture and Brand Camp about what's top of mind for them, right? Because a lot of times people hear the word culture and they hear the word brand and different things come to mind.
Totally.
Right? And so being able to understand what's top of mind for them and kind of how culture may be this elusive thing that may be hard to get your arms around, or what challenges they're having with culture, or what things do they love about their culture where they are today. And so I'm really looking forward just to listening and learning from the people that will be coming to play with us. Yeah, to play with us for that day. But I also love hearing from Ron and Shelly G. And I can never get too much of people who are really subject matter experts in their field. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, a lot of activities going on in DeLuca and Willow. Yeah. I'm actually heading to Texas tomorrow for a workshop that I'm going to be doing.
Cool.
It's exciting. So I don't want to give away the farm, but it's really going to be around the syntax of influence.
Oh.
So more coming soon, more to a theater near you. Yeah, and it really is going to be kind of an analogous offering to a group coaching program that we've been building called Transformation at Work. Right. So a lot of good things happening at DeLuca and Willow. So it's just been fun. I'm looking forward to, like I said, listening and learning from all the fun folks that are going to be playing with us at Culture and Brand Camp.
All right, who's your top influencer?
Oh, geez, that's so hard.
There might be more than one, but who do you think influences you most?
Oh, gosh. Well, in formative years, it's my dad.
Awesome.
It's my dad.
Tell me why.
Yeah, so I'm going to cry.
Oh, I love this.
So, gosh, he was just one of those guys who, knows what he loves, did what he loved. He's a musician. Yeah. And he loves music. And he knew that from a very early age. Went to study it in school. And he's lives his values every day. And what he did, and such a strong work ethic, super high integrity, really demanded kind of, I don't want to say respect, but it was a different time. He was a school teacher too, so a different time, but he lives his values and he just really demonstrated love what you do and do what you love.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're growing up and you see somebody who's so passionate about what they do, you can't help but rub off and be like, you know what? I want to light up like that every day doing what I enjoy. Yeah. So he was really pivotal for me when I was little for that very example.
Great.
Yeah. And
I love it.
Yeah. So I would say I would have to give props to my dad for sure.
All right. That's awesome. If he was sitting here, what would you tell him?
That I love him and thank you.
Yay. Good. Good answer. Well, let's wrap up. Just to remind our listeners that Culture and Brand Camp is May 14th at the Silverstone Event Plaza here in the Treasure Valley area. And if you're listening outside of this area, you're welcome to join us from wherever, and you can come. It'll be that morning. It'll be mostly breakfast. We'll have snacks, and I have some fun snacks planned around the Culture and Brand Camp theme. But and then lunch will be served. Thank you to DeLuca and Willow and Bank of the West, as well as Pepper Shock Media. And we hope that you'll get to join us. And again, go to peppershock.com/events to register. If you're listening to this before May 4th, you can enter for an extra chance to win if you get an early bird ticket. And we have a Culture and Brand Camp gift basket that we are giving away at the Culture and Brand Camp. And it's everything that you need to survive Culture and Brand Camp. So
Nice.
get registered at peppershock.com/events, and we'll hope to see you there. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Totally fun.
All right. Well, we'll hope to see you soon. And again, that website, peppershock.com/events. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com.